Good. Kill him.
This is where the fun begins.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Sithcast podcast, a Star Wars podcast where we pretty much talk anything and everything Star Wars. I am one of your hosts, PGA the Paradox host, Paradox host, yes, Paradox nerd, alongside my other co-host, Sean Solo, and Nilda, aka Appetite for Collectibles, aka the Sith Queen. And we got a really special guest on tonight. We got the man, the myth, the Rebo, Simon Williamson. Welcome to our humble
podcast.
How's it going, Simon? Oh, can you hear me?
Simon, can you hear us?
Simon?
I don't know if he can hear us.
What? Yeah. Can you hear us, Simon?
I know we were just working out. It was Gordon.
Yeah,
did you hit mute?
Oh no,
you
his mic is muted.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, go ahead. I think we got you.
Simon, can you hear us?
No, it's still muted.
Oh.
See, this is what happens when it's the show so early. We're like, we don't know what to do. No.
Yeah, we were just
we were just talking backstage and everything was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Simon, can you hear us at least? We can't hear you, but I think you can hear us. I don't know, Sean. Maybe you want to message him in the side. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, it was just working. By the way, guys, of course this is live, right? Everything was working fine right before we hopped on.
Yeah, everything was perfect. The world of technology.
I know. But anyway, while he is fixing his stuff here, I just address the chat real quick. We got Jeff's in the house. What's up, Jeff's? Thank you for hopping on today. A little early. Obviously, Simon is out in the UK, so they are about 5 or 6 hours ahead of us. We got Trooping with Robin. What's up, Trooping? What's up, Trooping? I'm tired. I just literally got out of work. What's up, Robin?
Hey, Robin.
I'm on what is it? I got off of work and I'm on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Simon, raise your hand if you can hear us.
Yeah, Simon, can you hear us?
I messaged him too.
Yeah, ask him if he wants to hop off and then hop back in. So, okay, we'll keep the train rolling. There's a lot of stuff, Nilda and Sean, that released this past week, especially the Ahsoka trailer, which, we'll definitely talk about. If not today, we'll definitely talk about another time. But just real quick thoughts, Nilda. What's your thoughts?
I cried throughout the whole trailer.
Oh, you did?
I'm ready. Then I wrote this super long speech to Rosario. Like I wrote a long thing to Rosario. Mm-hmm. She messaged me back. And then she sent me the link to this thing called Dine with Rosario Dawson. Mm-hmm. To try to, win the event. And I'll send it to you guys in the chat where basically you try to compete to try to get into, to win this prize. It's like a 2-day trip with Rosario Dawson and the whole cast of Ahsoka, and you get to walk the premiere, and you get to have dinner with them.
Oh, send it to me.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Okay.
I removed him from the stream, and then how do we get him? You guys just keep talking.
Okay.
So yeah, it's I just pulled it up right now. It's like attend the premiere as Rosario's VIP guest. So you're her actual date.
Well, if anything, I know,
Yeah,
Nilla, you're a huge fan.
oh my
Sean
God.
will be on that. I
So it
think.
literally it's like you get access to the 2 exclusive premiere dates for the Star Wars Ahsoka at the end of August. You get to meet
Okay.
and greet with Rosario Dawson and walk the red carpet. You get to
Mhm.
do red carpet photo opportunity, a round
Yeah.
trip flight for you and one guest. And then you also have hotel accommodations for 2 nights. I literally was like, I should just win this already because look, I have a shrine.
Well, 2 VIP guests, right?
Yeah, so basically what I would do is I'll have you and
Okay,
Sean
I'm so
fight
sorry.
for it.
Fight to
Emails
the
are
death.
going.
I want you and Sean to fight to the death.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So,
Well, okay, thanks, Nilda. I don't know if I want to share this because I want to win it too.
I've used all my vacation days, so it's yours.
Yeah. Anyway,
Really,
but,
Sean? You're gonna give Sean, if you won, you would give up a 2-day walking with Rosario for the premiere of Ahsoka?
Yeah, I got to keep my job.
Lame. But what
I
if
know.
that can
What's a
open up
job? Who needs a
opportunities
job?
for
My kids don't need to
your
eat.
job?
Who needs a job?
I
No,
know.
but honestly, though, again, we'll dissect the trailer. If not tonight or today, we'll definitely do it in the next episode. But let's just say, very, very interesting. And there's been a little bit of controversy, I guess, recently. What Dave Filoni has been saying about Anakin being the most powerful Jedi.
No, he said he's the greatest Jedi.
Okay, greatest Jedi. He is pretty
I
damn.
think he was saying that based off of popularity. I think what he said was,
Popularity?
yeah, dude, popularity. Come on, you're not. The man received a standing. I'm saying Hayden Christensen,
Of course,
within the
I
past
agree.
couple years, has received nothing but standing ovations at every
Yeah.
celebration. He's the only celebrity, Star Wars celebrity I know that has about a 7 to 10 hour line wait for either signatures or photos, depending on the state that you go to.
I agree, but I don't know. I have to respectfully disagree just because Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, I just feel like no matter what, that's across the board.
Oh, I know. He's the greatest. He is the greatest Jedi. But I think Filoni, anybody different genres can say that, which Jedi is great. Like for you and I will say, Anakin is the greatest.
Really? You say that over Ahsoka?
But Ahsoka's not a Jedi.
Oh, yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah, if we want to go technical, Ahsoka was never a Jedi.
I mean, she was a Jedi, but
she was a Jedi.
But
not
anymore.
Not anymore. But in all fairness, this. My favorite character of all time is Ahsoka. My second one is Darth Vader. So, I'm seeing it as from different perspectives. Like one from like popularity. Two, I'm seeing it from it's the different genres. Like most of our friends from the community who are more into like the OG, the OT, they will say that Luke Skywalker is the best Jedi. Certain kids, maybe your oldest son's age, or kids, Sean's kids' age, will say like, I don't know, they'll say
nothing because they don't like this stuff.
Yeah, they don't
really like
Star Wars now.
No, but like honestly though, I mean, it's like what George Lucas said. It's always been about Anakin. It's always Anakin's story. Like, yeah,
it is.
Luke's. It was the first trilogy. It focused mainly on Luke, but Luke is Anakin's son, and it was basically that whole story is the redemption. The original trilogy is the redemption of Darth Vader. Not only the redemption of Darth Vader, but Luke's journey from going from like this small farm boy to like all the way to like a Jedi Knight, Jedi Master.
Yeah.
OG fan wins. Oh, see, here we go.
No.
See,
but
OG fan wins Star. Luke Skywalker is the greatest Jedi. Fought Vader and lost. Fought Vader and won, returning him to the light side and toppling the Empire.
But that's why I said it. It like I think that reference, like what Filoni said is it's different variations from different people. Like I said earlier, people who are OT fans will say that Luke Skywalker is the greatest Jedi of all time. Other people will say like Darth Vader is the greatest, Anakin's the greatest Jedi of all time. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think George Lucas says a lot of things not consistent either. I mean, I think he was not consistent just because as the movies came along, he was kind of like I won't say making it up, he was writing it along the way. Like he had it in his mind like where it wanted to be, but he'd be like, "Oh no, it's this," and no, it's that. But at the end of it, he's always said that the whole prequel and original trilogy has all been about the Skywalkers and the redemption of Anakin from because if you think about it, it's episode 4, 5, 6, right? I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but then if you there's episode 1, 2, and 3. So I know 4, 5, 6 came first, but technically it's episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how it's intended to be like watched. George Lucas intended to be watched with not the OT fans, because obviously we experienced 4, 5, 6 first, but for some of the newer fans around that time and the newer fans now, it's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it's just one of those things that it's very interesting. And for me as an Anakin fan, I love Anakin just because it's like a story that can be relatable about someone that has so much potential to do great things. He makes a stupid mistake, right? A stupid mistake that cost him a lot.
Well, he was also tempted because he was tempted because somebody found out what his weakness was and used it against him.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously that's the dark side, and any temptation nowadays, right? So, I mean, I'll be honest. I've have potential in certain things when I was younger in terms of sports, but then I kind of was like, all right, I veered off track because of girls. I was a high school teenager, and the dark side tempted me, but but it's very relatable, because how many people have fallen down from grace and made that mistake, and for people that manage to pick themselves up, to redeem themselves, to have that, to go through all that adversity to become the person that they are now. I think that's just relatable, and Luke Skywalker is relatable because he goes like a hero's journey. Basically, he's this like naive, like young farm boy that doesn't know anything, and he's like kind of like not cocky, but I wouldn't say he's cocky, but he was just like didn't want to listen. He was kind of reckless in a way, almost similar to his like father, but True Life Sith. I like that.
I like what Star Wars Sid said. He said, I'd say Obi-Wan, he lost Qui-Gon, lost Anakin, lost Satine, lost the whole Jedi Order. He lost everything and never turned and trained Luke.
Oh, you say he's the greatest Jedi or the failed Jedi? I mean,
the failed Jedi.
No, I'm just saying. Anyway, my love for Obi. Love
you mean
to hate him.
For Obi.
Love to hate him.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. And for the guys tuning in, so we're having some technical difficulties. Simon was just in, and everything was working fine, literally until until we just went live.
Yeah, something happened with his computer, but he was already saying that there was something wrong with the computer if we heard a glitch. So I think Sean is just probably showing him how to.
Yeah, but I'm kind of excited for Ahsoka.
Dude, I was at work yesterday. I had a very busy clinic, and literally my phone was just like beeping, 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 and I'm like, "What the hell?" And I looked at my Apple Watch, and I just saw Ahsoka official, and then it says new reel, and I was like, "These fuckers posted it on Tano Tuesday." And I looked at one of the the medical assistants, and I was like, "Hey, can
Mhm.
you do me a favor? I'm in a Zoom meeting. If
Mhm.
anybody asks, but I'll be right back." And I went and took off, and I watched the whole trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. So it, I was shocked because I know that was it the day before, like Rosario was on Good Morning America? Was
Yeah.
it? Yeah. It was on Monday, right?
She's been doing a tour because
Mhm.
she's promoting two things. She's doing, the Haunted Mansion is coming out, which I'm excited to see
Oh,
that
she's in
too.
it? I didn't know
Yeah,
she's
she's part of the Haunted Mansion, and the whole cast is freaking phenomenal. It's like
Mhm.
Stacey Nash, Jamie Lee Curtis is playing Madame Leota.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, so they've been promoting that, and then she was
Mhm.
also doing the campaign for Ahsoka because we're now hitting that 6 week mark.
Oh my gosh, can you believe it? It's like literally right around the corner, and
Dude,
I'm
some of the lines in that trailer, like I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. Like just hearing what like Balin said in the beginning, where he was
we're
just, yeah, I like quoted that on my Instagram page today.
yeah. He goes, "We're no Jedi, right?"
Yeah, this was my favorite part. He says, "War is inevitable. We must destroy in order to create," which that is actually a line. It's not like it's a reference taken from a war book,
Mhm.
but I just love that one line. And then he was like, "We are no Jedi," and I think my theory, and you and I were talking about this about like the war of the war
The
of the
world
worlds.
between worlds, yeah.
Yeah, I think that scene where we're seeing him walk through and he's, doing the same motions as Vader was doing, I think they're traveling between the worlds and seeing because when that conversation he's having with
Mhm.
um the girl, I think her name is Skull or
Mhm.
Skrill.
Yeah.
And then the other lady from The Mandalorian, when the three of them are talking and they're
Mhm.
like, what happens when we find Thrawn? You see that they're at that mysterious planet and you
Mhm.
just see different things.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right?
Yes,
I
OG. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
yeah, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. Honestly, like I said, I've been saying this for a couple years now. I'm really hoping that Ahsoka does something with the world between worlds. There has to be something.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason why Dave Filoni added a world between worlds. And the reason why I say that is because world between worlds, that's like kind of technically like you could there's a possibility of you altering timelines here,
Yeah, there's going to
right?
be a multiverse.
I really hope we don't go to the multiverse because to be honest, no, I'm kind of sick and tired of the multiverse. There's like
I know
everything is
everything is multiverse.
yeah. There's even a movie about it. What's that girl? The the one that won all the Academy Awards, right? That's technically
Yes.
talking about like multiverses and stuff, alternate universe. And I'm kind of sick of it. I'm just happy with Star Wars being one linear timeline. And I know with the World Between Worlds and Rebels, there was only one part where it kind of made sense where it wouldn't really alter too many timelines where
Yeah.
Ezra pulled Ahsoka out of the like the falling temple
Yeah.
or the crumbling temple
The crumbling temple.
because technically no one saw her or no one saw it like happen where she was being
Yeah.
pulled out. Only Ahsoka knows that and Ezra, and it's just one of those things where like no one's questioning like, oh wow, what happened to Ahsoka? Did she die? Did she this? Or they all know is that okay, Ahsoka just disappeared and then came right back and then
Yeah.
many years later. So
I also was like a huge fan of like the banter between her and Sabine.
mhm,
And like, Hera says to Ahsoka, like, about Anakin. And I love the fact that we got two
mhm.
Anakin references in the trailer. So it's like,
Yeah.
are we gonna get a flashback of when,
And
before she left the temple? Are we gonna see Anakin like a live action of the
we're
Clone
gonna
Wars?
we're gonna see a live action
Of the Clone Wars?
of that scene, the Battle of the Heroes,
Yes.
where I think we talked about it. The rumor is that she is going to be shown some alternate timelines where instead of Obi-Wan fighting Anakin in that,
It's her fighting Anakin.
it's her fighting Anakin.
Yeah.
I mean, Anakin's, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's just going to be very interesting. And I'm wondering if we're going to get to see that in this season, because supposedly they wanted to make it 2 seasons, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's cool that I got to go to the Clone Wars
Mm.
panel, and there was a lot of good questions that they were asked. And one of the questions that one of the fans did ask was
Mhm.
if Ahsoka never left. They
Mhm.
asked Ashley, "Do you think that Ahsoka would have been able to have stopped any of this from happening with Anakin?" And both Ashley and Matt both said that they believe that if she would have stayed with her and Obi-Wan and Padme, all three of them, which is like the three most family members to Anakin who love him the most, would have been able to convince him. Because remember, all three of those different people, they had a different pull to his heartstring.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that Padme and Obi-Wan were separated, you know, they both couldn't really talk to him together. By the
Mhm.
time they were able to talk to him together, it's when, you know, he had already completely turned.
Yeah.
And he saw Obi-Wan as an enemy.
Yeah, I think because it kind of, that's why I love the Clone Wars and Rebels animated shows, just because it's just like an extra backstory to what was happening in
Yeah.
between movies. But here's the thing too, is that one thing I love about Clone Wars too is that it just shows Anakin kind of like being alone, like Ahsoka left him, like he was like the
He was
Jedi.
upset.
Yeah, and the whole Clone Wars like show plays into that line to what Anakin said about like, in my eyes the Jedi are evil. So
Yeah. I love David.
okay,
I love
Hello, but
David's
I
comment.
warn you. I warn you. I'm on Safari on my
Mhm.
iPhone now because the iPhone wasn't working. But I just
Oh, okay.
So
It was just
the
so weird.
sound, the
Yeah.
sound may suddenly go for all I know.
Well, hopefully not. I think I'm not sure what happened before. Everything worked out perfectly before until we
Yeah,
went live.
we went through all sorts of.
It was
things. I
it
think
was
it's maybe just-
Safari. It's Safari.
Damn you.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
open Chrome, stick in the link, and then it would keep on reverting to Safari anyway. So
Yeah. Well,
I think
Simon,
we're live now, so the viewers are listening to all this stuff about Safari
Chrome
and
and
Chrome.
Hey, rule of thumb: whenever you guys are on StreamYard, do not use Safari. It does not like the audio. I learned that the hard way too. When I first started streaming with PJ, it was like I was using Safari, and then I went to Firefox, and then I found out Chrome was the most stable. But every time he made Chrome his default browser, and then when he would click on the link, it would still tell him to open it in Safari. So we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, that's right.
But we'll make it work though. That's what we do. We improvise.
Yes. Well, Simon, again, a reintroduction. The man, the myth, the Rebo. Simon Williamson in the house.
In the flesh.
Max Rebo.
Yes.
Oh, there he is.
Oh man.
Yeah. How many of those do you have lying around the house?
Just the one plushie.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, Simon, we are very humbled, for your, for you being here. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join us tonight or tonight. So I know it's like 4 or 5 hours ahead. You're 4 or 5 hours ahead of us. So hopefully, just let us know if you have to bounce because it's getting a little late over there. But we'll make it work. Everything's working fine.
Or until the pub kicks you out.
Yeah, the pub. There you go. So, Simon, what an honor. And
thank you.
You are known for playing Max Rebo in Return of the Jedi. And Max Rebo, I'm sure you know and seen and observed, has become one of the most popular Star Wars characters in the past how many years now? There's
a lot. Yeah.
A lot. I mean, obviously, Regal Robot, who we had on the show like a couple weeks ago, They made a
Oh,
maquette.
that's beautiful. Yes.
Have you seen that one?
Yes, I have. I've
Simon?
signed. I think I've signed just 2 or 3 of those.
Oh, you have.
Okay, nice.
The first one I signed was last November at Rhode Island Comic Con.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you
So I was
think of
able
it?
to put on the side #1. Oh, have I just got? Okay, something's
Yeah.
happened. Oh, there it is. You put up. I see.
Yeah.
it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's very small and compact. That.
yeah, I think
It's
because
a nice. It's a nice portable size.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Now I was gonna say, have have you seen the original like concept maquette by Phil Tippett? Like, has he shown it to you? Have you before?
Oh, he didn't show it to me at the time. No.
Oh, okay.
I've only seen this kind of the one that's just been made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask you because you can see here, like I guess I'm assuming from this picture, Phil was the real like prop, correct?
Yeah, because they were basing looks like that prop off of that original maquette in the bottom left.
Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah.
So that's what Phil had made, and then I'm not sure if he made the life size one. So they're using that as reference.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, how was like putting that suit on, like and playing the part?
Well, yeah. He's kind of it's like the top half of me is inside, from my waist up is in Max Rebo.
Mm-hmm.
So any film which has lots of puppets in, all the stages are raised off the ground because you need to get the puppeteers from underneath half the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go under the stage, come up through a hole, and the hole is in the center of the Red Bull jet organ.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go up there and I'd kind of like Louis the 14th. I'd stand up with my arms out, say, put Max Rebo on me. And then they'd lift him up and I'd squeeze into him because it's quite tight. And,
right.
Really?
Yeah.
I would imagine like it'd be a little bit like,
it looks frumpy on the outside, but I guess the inside. Yeah.
I'm wondering what was the material? Was it like
latex.
Cotton? It was latex.
It's got to be.
Yeah,
latex.
it's a kind of rubbery, latexy, foam-based thing. They're heavier than the Jim Henson puppets.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Because I have a feeling Henson's wouldn't give them the chemical formula to make the special Muppet foam. So now, they did their own version. Stuart Freeborn, I think, did a lot of that. Now, and yeah, the surface is this kind of shiny, vinyl-y skin.
Yeah. Now, did you work with Henson on this at all?
No, not officially. No, I mean the Henson connection is, of course, because Frank Oz played Yoda,
right?
And I worked on Dark Crystal. We'd finished shooting about 6 months before at Elstree Studios, 6 months before they shot Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So there are a lot of the same crew were involved in both movies.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So is that how you ended when you ended up getting on the Jedi? Is that from Dark Crystal?
Is because of Dark Crystal, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dark Crystal was, I mean, I was a little kid, obviously, when I watched Dark Crystal, but that Dark Crystal, like some of the characters there, like scared me as a kid. I don't know what it was.
I thought them to be like creepy looking fairies, but I thought, they were sweet. They just looked weird.
Yeah. I thought they were creepy fairies.
Yeah, they were creepy. Oh my gosh. I was like scared.
I just love that David Bowie was there. Did you get to meet
No, David Bowie was on Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, sorry.
Yeah.
Dark Crystals was oh my god. I'm trying to remember the name of the actor. It'll get to me. I'm gonna look for it right now.
Bowie was on Labyrinth, right? No, but it's a very
we had no humans on
no
human characters on Dark Crystal.
I was talking about the actress who was doing the voice with Lisa Maxwell.
Oh right, yes.
Did you get to do a lot of interaction with her?
No, because the voiceover artists come in after in post-production, essentially.
Okay.
They're not done live.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like I said, like Dark Crystal was very dark for me, at least. Like,
Yes, and
like,
you were frightened. You were frightened, Sean, of the Skeksis, presumably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those,
Yeah.
I can't even say their names.
They weren't that creepy.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I
they're
was
like vultures, aren't they?
yeah.
They're like lizards and vultures and crocodiles combined.
Yeah, I mean, when did that movie first came out? Wait, what year was that?
That was
1982.
Well, if
82,
Jedi
right?
came out in 83, Dark Crystal came out in 82.
82.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, obviously, I probably watched it on VHS, but I remember I was like at least like 4 or 5 when I saw that, and I'm like, what
Such a young
is-
buck.
I wasn't even born.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was
that's
like,
right. That's
oh,
right.
oh.
Make me feel old.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm right
Simon.
behind you, Simon.
Yeah. And
But
I was gonna say,
I just have to interrupt to say, as I'm now on my my iPhone, which I wasn't planning to use, I charged up the iPad, which didn't work. I just had a notice saying I've only got 20% battery left. So
we better talk quick.
Yeah. Talk like this.
oh my gosh. No pressure. But Simon,
I think that if it's in normal use, I might get a couple of hours out of 20. I don't know. Well, we'll see. If it suddenly gives me a kind of 5%, I'll know we'll know the pace of the stuff.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, sorry, no pressure. But like, so really quick with George, like, like, did anyone tell you what you were going to be playing when they first casted you into Return of Jedi? Or
no, I was hired as a puppeteer along with a few others. I think there were about 3 or 4 of us.
Okay.
Possibly more, because I think Mike Quinn and Tim Rose were on slightly different contracts, I seem to think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Mike.
No,
Mike
we got to Jabba's palace, and they sort of said, "Oh, well, you have a go in that one, and you have a go in that one." And the first character I was given was a 6-eyed, 6-limbed slug-like creature called 6-6, who was on the floor of Jabba's palace.
Okay. Oh, really?
And he didn't do very much. So most of my puppeteering was in actually manipulating the way his back moved and kind of undulated, and he was not a very exciting puppet. And I was thinking about the story the other day, just around about the time I was going up to ICC, and I remembered there was some issue where another puppeteer, who should be nameless, had committed the cardinal sin of, while I was going off for a tea break, he'd put his hand in my puppet.
Oh,
my
gosh!
I wasn't pleased with this. It didn't get to a row or anything, but Phil Tippett said, "Oh, well, we have another character you could play," and he took me upstairs into the creature room, and there before me was this blue trunked vision of loveliness called Max Rebo, and I thought, yes, please, I will love to play him, because he's bright blue in what at that time was going to be a set with a lot more smoke in it. I thought he's going to have a lot of impact visually. Yeah. And so that's how I got to play Max Rebo. But yes, the beginning of your question, did I know what I was going to be playing beforehand? No, I didn't.
I'm sorry, Simon. Did they let you know, like, hey, this is the 3rd Star Wars movie that you're going to be on, or was it kind of like a blind?
We knew that. Oh no, we knew that. Yes, yeah. They weren't good about giving us any script. I don't think we got any scripts. So you just, you'd be briefed on the day's work just beforehand.
All right. Yeah.
They were so kind of paranoid about security.
And my question to you, Simon, was because I love Femi Taylor. I've met her a few times.
Oh, right.
How is it working with her? Because I know she's an awesome dancer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's great. The only trouble is I only got to see her stuff when I wasn't in the shot.
Okay.
Because once I'm in Max Rebo, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Really?
So you're just basically dancing away like this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to play it real quick, I don't see. So I see you're like kind of like touching the, the instrument there. And first of all, how dare the other puppeteer put his hands on your puppet?
Yeah.
Without buying you
Yeah.
a drink first.
Yeah, at least buy
Usually,
you a drink first.
at least, geez, man, not on the first date, Mister.
I wonder if they have signs in like their locker rooms, like in the on set, saying like "Don't touch
Yeah,
somebody
we
else's
don't
puppet."
have didn't have luxuries like locker rooms.
Oh, okay.
You were lucky you had air conditioning.
I know. Yeah, well, I was
I
gonna say
wish
we
I
have.
wish I'd had air conditioning inside Max Rebo.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh, I'm
That's
sure. I
hot.
can't imagine.
That's hot.
We had one of your fellow cohorts come also to our show, Sean Crawford, aka
Oh, yes, jolly good.
Yak Face.
Yeah.
So he was telling us how hot it is in those costumes, and there was no air in like on set, correct? There was not a lot of air.
Other than the fans, they probably.
Well,
yeah.
Yes, I mean, because later on I got to be a couple of Gamorrean guards. And they'd kind of
nice.
prop our jaws open and stick a hairdryer on cold to kind of get some air across your face. If they didn't have time to take the whole head off, because the Gamorrean guard is kind of like a bit like an Airfix model. It comes in kind of 6 or 7 different sections. So you could take the head off, but then next you'd maybe have to take the feet off, and then the tunic, and then the top half, and then the bottom half. So it often wasn't, between shots, it often wasn't worth giving the performers the comfort of being able to get out of costume, because it's so cumbersome to get in and out. Sometimes it's quicker to kind of leave them in there. So the cold hair dryers for the Gamorrean guards was a great boon. And it also looked ridiculous. So if you got some photos of that, it's rather amusing.
Looks like he's
awesome.
eating a fan.
Yeah, no, but that's awesome. You got to play the Gamorrean guards, because obviously, at the time, like, when you watch the movie, like, that's one thing I love about Star Wars is that fans just gravitate to certain characters. Like, people love Max Rebo.
Yeah.
And, we're going to ask this question. I think, OG fan raised this question was, we know that Max Rebo returned in Book of Boba. Did you expect like Max Rebo to be so popular as he is now? When you were first in
yes, I've got a smattering of fans. I think the popularity has increased slightly in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
because there's a new Marvel Star Wars Max Rebo comic coming out with 2 separate covers.
Yes,
or even 3 separate on something like August the 9th.
Yes, so actually,
they've just released another. A new edition of the Max Rebo Funko, and this time he's actually in his organ, his Red Bull jet organ.
Yeah, that one's gonna look good.
And the Funko's like even it's a brighter like blue color.
I think is it brighter? I think it's about the same from what I remember.
A little bit more brighter.
Is it? Oh well.
Yeah.
I'll have a look because I've got one already.
Oh, you do?
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Little sneak peek.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I like I said, he's been popular, and then he was in the Book of Boba. Is that him?
Yes,
I don't
but
think
that wasn't me playing it.
How dare they, though?
Yeah, that's blasphemy.
I'm surprised they didn't ask you to come back for that.
Well, I'm surprised and a little offended, but there you go. In their favor, I think the Book of Boba Fett was probably shot in a volume, like a volume in Los Angeles rather than the UK or even Australia, where they did the prequels.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure at the time of shooting was when nobody from the UK was allowed to fly to America.
Oh, that's right. It was a COVID.
But even
thing.
if I had been able to fly, I just get the feeling they weren't sufficiently knowledgeable about where I was, or the original Max Rebo, and didn't think to ask me.
No,
but it was a bit of a disappointment, because for years I've been thinking, with all the origins and spin-offs, I thought, why don't they do something about Max Rebo? And then suddenly I get this call or this photo on Facebook saying, "Is this you?"
Yeah, because I remember Anthony Daniels was upset in the Phantom Menace when young Anakin was building 3PO, and then I guess it was like a puppeteer ran the skeleton body that 3PO was before he had the gold armor. And I think Anthony Daniels was a little upset about that. But then
Well, yes, of course. If you do play a character, particularly one that's well loved, and you're associated with this character, and you could still physically perform it,
right?
Yeah, of course you kind of expect to.
Like I'm 3PO, you are Max Rebo. It's like we are that character. We've embraced that character. It's like you said, it's a little upsetting when you don't get the call.
Yeah, especially when you go to a convention and then people are looking for you to sign their concept maquette because you are Max Rebo.
I'm that Max Rebo. But yes, if someone wants me to sign a photograph of the Book of Boba Fett Max Rebo, I would say, this isn't me.
Yeah.
Would you not prefer one of the photos I have of me playing the character?
Yeah.
Well, that's
I wouldn't refuse to sign it, but I would just point out to them, that one's not me.
Yeah, because when I was doing the cover art for this show, the first artwork was the one from Book of Boba, and he goes, "That's not me." He's like, "With the other one," so I switched it out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing when I went to like one of the conventions and it was like 4 different Darth Vaders. I was getting the signatures for the ones that they played. And I had a friend of mine who was trying to give one of the Darth Vaders who played in Rogue One of the Return of the Jedi photos. And I was like, do not do that. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Was that
Spencer
or Andrew Nelson?
It was Spencer. Spencer was from Rogue One.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. We'll put a petition. We're going to sign a petition now, Simon, for you to come back as Max Rebo.
Yes.
COVID's gone. COVID's not here. Everyone's flying freely with no mask and no restrictions.
Then we'll upset the new person who's playing it.
God. Well, how about you take turns?
Yeah.
I still like to know how Max Rebo survived.
Did he survive?
When the sail barge blew up?
Well, clearly.
No, I mean like with the Book of Boba, because the cantina
blew up too. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a case that they're kind of doing a theme of there are big explosions when Max Rebo's around. So in Return of the Jedi, it's an explosion. You assume, he must have died. And now in the Book of Boba Fett, that explodes, doesn't it, or is set on fire?
So
they're going to bring him back again, probably.
Oh, they have to.
Well, when he knows it's about to blow up, he just ducks inside his keyboard and it's fire resistant.
That's probably going to be the plot of the Max Rebo solo film.
Yeah.
What if the keyboard is actually like a pod?
Yeah.
And he goes in and it shuts and it doesn't allow anything to destroy it, and that's how he survives.
And very disappointing too. Like you didn't play the Book of Boba, Max Rebo, because to be honest, obviously you're blue and you stick out like a sore thumb. So when you're watching Return of the Jedi as a kid, like myself, for the first time, I gravitated towards your character. Salacious Crumb, and it's just because it's just wow, like cool. Who is this elephant-looking creature? That is playing the keyboard. That is so cool.
and Cy Snootles too. Do you like Cy Snootles?
Oh, she's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Humana.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
He has a thing for aliens.
Yeah. Weird fetish. But anyway, well, that's another episode. No, but it's just one of those things that your character is very, very loved. And honestly, I love the fact that Marvel Disney Star Wars, whatever you want to call it, is making a comic book, and I am picking that up, and hopefully you are doing your convention circuit in stateside here, and then I could come meet you in person.
Yes, that'd be good. I don't have any American ones planned yet for coming up. I've got one in Sweden and another one in England. One in Sweden in next month. And then in October, one in a place called Redditch in the UK, Echo-based Redditch.
Okay.
Nice.
Would you do maybe something like ICCC again next year, or?
I'd love to do ICCC. They probably wouldn't have me back 2 years running. Michael probably wants to spread out the kind of the guests a bit more. Who knows?
I
Who
think
knows?
he, I
know
think he would
Sean.
have you back.
Sean did it last year,
Mhm.
and he said, because I did it last year, he said, I know I'm not coming back this year.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I was gonna say is that hopefully you got come to do Contropolis, and the only reason why I say Contropolis because I just went to Contropolis, New Jersey this past weekend. And
right.
honestly, they just had like a slew of Star Wars actors there.
Oh, who
It
did they
was just
have?
they had Emily Swallow. They had some the guy who played oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. There's
Jar Jar Binks?
Jar Jar Binks, Ahmed Best was
Right.
there. Amy Allen.
Oh, right.
You
Black
know, the guy who played
Christopian.
the guy who played
any original trilogy?
No. But I mean, I think they should expand on that, especially they got a whole bunch of Star Wars actors together and just add more. Would like to see you.
Yeah, I mean, the organizers Altered Reality.
Yeah.
I did that. They do Rhode Island Comic Con, which I did last November.
Okay.
So,
See?
yeah.
Well, I mean, if they could combine it together instead of having everyone spread out and just have one big convention of all the Star Wars like actors.
That's
in
called
one
Celebration.
I think it would be
It's
cool
done by
to
other
just
people.
do.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it
yeah.
would be cool just
Well,
to do
Celebration's in
only,
Japan. It's so hard. I mean, the flight out there alone is expensive, but
Oh, right. Yes.
I'll be going.
I mean, like, obviously, I'm a little biased because I live here in the States, but like Sean Crawford, like, it'd be nice if you guys could be in like one like line of tables and we could just like one after another just
Yeah.
meet
The trouble is, it's there's now so much Star Wars product, so many films, the spin-off series, the spin-off films.
Yeah.
You can't invite everyone, so you have to kind of make big choices all the time. And
Yeah.
I suppose at Celebration there's a lot of the focus. I mean, it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, so we thought they might invite about 20 of us.
Right.
And there's
That would
probably
make sense.
40 of us they could, but in the end I think it was only about 12 or so.
What?
Wow.
How's that?
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
because they wanted to publicize the new series coming out.
yeah, but
They're more, I suppose that's what they're more geared to. They get the new viewers for the new series.
Yeah, well, that's what Disney's doing. They're trying to promote the new agenda for Star Wars and almost forget about the past.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about it all the time on this show where we felt like Disney was trying to rush out the old characters, get rid of Harrison Ford. They really tried to push Luke out in the wrong way.
Right.
So Disney has that's kind of their MO right now.
Well, hopefully it ends pretty soon because that's one thing we love about Star Wars is just not just Star Wars itself, but every character in Star Wars. Max Rebo, Yak Face. I mean, for goodness sake, Yak Face and Max Rebo, like people love these characters. It's not just like
Yak Face is very interesting.
Yeah,
because he's suddenly become a huge kind of figure. I mean, I know Sean is doing a lot of kind of his own little merchandise and extra things for the fans. But I think it's because there was this big 14-inch kind of Yak Face model and also some smaller ones, and they were quite rare. So they sell for huge amounts of money.
Oh,
and he's a background character who doesn't have many specific definable moments in the movie.
Right.
So it's odd that, it's unusual that the fans say, oh, I like this character. This one I like.
Yeah, I think as the figure got so popular
and
it was such a rare figure, I think, and then that's the chatter amongst the Star Wars community. Yak Face. Next thing you know, he's huge and everyone wants Yak Face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe Amanaman is going to be the next one.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's already there. He's in the original figures. He's up there with the pricing, especially if you get him with all his with the accessories. The same thing with Yak Face.
Yeah, but that's the one thing about
Amanaman is actually played by a woman, my friend Ailsa Burke.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen Ailsa for something like, close to 10 years. We just got to kind of the odd kind of phone call at Christmas and Christmas card and say, we'll definitely meet up in January. Yeah, let's do that. And then nothing, we just never followed through.
Oh, man.
So after ICC, I did a little convention up in Rochester, New York. And the change was at JFK Airport. And I got a tap on my shoulder from Ailsa. And I said, "Oh, Ailsa," I said, "it's taken a convention in Rochester to finally get us together again." So that was nice.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Sean.
No, I was going to say, like, we were talking about how Yak Face, the figure, brought him to the popularity he is. But Max Rebo, right off the bat, though, I mean, you had the whole band. And I just need to know, are you tired of that theme song for the Cantina Band theme song? Are you worn out?
Nope.
Still love it. I love it.
I love that song.
I like all the Star Wars music.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of go to a convention and it's blasting out. It gives you a sense of belonging.
I agree.
That's awesome.
I agree. It just, you know, and that's one thing, like I said about Star Wars, is that, like, you know, everyone loves many different aspects of Star Wars across the universe, and, you know, whether it be the music, the background characters, the creatures, and it's just such a vast universe where, you know, with the fandom can pick any part of the universe, the Star Wars universe, and just fall in love with it, you know. And you met a lot of, like, obviously a lot of Max Rebo fans, like, you know, when they come up to you, they go, "Oh my gosh, you know, I always love Max Rebo." Like, what are their reactions to meeting you in person? And, like, you know, what did they like? Did they tell you their fond memory of Max Rebo, or what are those conversations like?
They say, "Oh, he's cool," and stuff like that, you know. My favorite. And it used to be the case, I noticed, like a year-long period where I go to conventions sort of early on when I was signing, and there was a tendency that kids and women, mothers, would like Max Rebo.
Really?
Whereas the men would often go, "Oh no, I'll have a Gamorrean guard." Like, in the sense it was more, you know, masculine.
Masculine, yeah.
Well, because you look at Max Rebo and, like, the first impression you get, it's like, it looks like a friendly little baby elephant.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to hug it. You know, if I was a little kid and I saw that, I just want to hug it. It looks like a friendly elephant.
Yeah. Yes, he has that quality, because he's in, you know, it's a Jabba's palace is full of ne'er-do-wells and villains, and
everyone's so menacing. Yeah,
but he just looks so happy, so that's why he just didn't belong in that whole little group.
It's crazy because it's like what they said is, like, you're in Jabba's palace with all these bounty hunters and scum and villainy, and here you are, you're like, la 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 la, I'm gonna play this, you know, the Rancor's not scaring you, you're just chilling, like, you're in your own world. And especially in the Book of Boba, you're like, here comes Black Chrysanthemum, you know, Boba Fett, and you're like, oh, Boba Fett's alive again? Okay, I'm just like me, I'm alive.
Hey, just keep playing. We keep getting paid. Keep playing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I was so excited. Like, it was just so baffling that I was like, oh my God, Max Rebo's back. And honestly, I really hope to see you in the Max Rebo costume in a future, you know, project.
That would be great.
I think that would be awesome. And they need to, if he survived he was obviously in the sail barge, right? And he was in
well, according to Robot Chicken, of course, he kind of escaped on a little kind of craft, didn't he?
Yeah.
Crashed in the desert. I just thought the voice they gave him.
Oh, really?
Man, I didn't think that was Max Rebo.
Well, you know, Robot Chicken, they do their own thing over there. No, but I think he survived again. You know, Max Rebo is very elusive. You know, can't really, you know, can't bring him down. Let's put it this way. So I'll be very excited to see what they, hopefully, you know, Filoni or Favreau decides to bring you back. And I don't know, we'll sign a petition and say, we want Max back.
Please do. Yes. Get those petitions on the go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to say, is that, like, you know, have you met George Lucas? That, you know, when Did he ever give you any insight of like, okay, this is Max, this is the background story for
No,
Max?
most of the protocol on set is that the director does that.
Okay.
And if the director's too far away behind a monitor, the first assistant director might come and say, can you move in there a bit closer there, that kind of. But yeah, I've got a lovely shot of myself with Richard Marquand, the director, crouching by Max Rebo, having a conversation. And because I can't see anything, I don't know. He might have been talking to me. I couldn't hear.
Oh,
Or it
really?
might have been the time he was saying
George,
some notes or something. But because I can't see and hearing was very difficult, it's a lovely picture.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now George was kind of around in the background, but not. I mean, he did some directing on the second unit in the Millennium Falcon and the with Lando and Nine Numb, because I puppeted Nine Numb's eye blinks in that sequence.
Oh, did you?
And then we did a couple of days of other characters in similar cockpits, which are part of the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray.
Okay.
So there was another Salustran called 10 Numb.
Really? There's 10 Numb?
Mm.
There's 9 and 10.
9 and 10. Yeah.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah. And there was another calamari character who on the call sheet was called Ernie Akbar.
Ernie
Akbar?
Ernie
Akbar.
But now because they've released some photographs of him, even though he's not in the film, he didn't survive into the film. He's now called Ika Sulko.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think Tim was the main puppeteer. Tim Rose was the main puppeteer, and I did one of his arms, his flippers at the side. So on the Blu-ray, you hear George saying, do that again with the hand, Simon, or something like that.
Well, I was going to say, how long you've been doing, I mean, you worked on, obviously, in Star Wars, and you worked on the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
How long were you puppeteering before that? Like, was that like
no, Dark Crystal was my first experience of puppeteering.
Oh, okay.
You also did what is it, the Muppets Christmas Carol, right?
Yeah, that came a bit later. Yes, I'm a kind of small background Muppet in there. Nothing very exciting.
And you were in Little Shop of Horrors?
Little Shop of Horrors, yes.
Yep.
Oh wow,
Yep.
okay.
Playing various bits of Audrey 2, the giant plant.
Okay.
So at one stage, I think.
No, I said feed me Seymour.
Yeah, feed me Seymour.
I have a tiny little Venus flytrap in my little patio. I think they're interesting, so I bought like a couple of them at Home Depot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I had the notice saying I've got 10 minutes left a while back. So in case it doesn't give me a note saying you've got just 5 minutes left, in case it just cuts out, I'm wondering if we should maybe have some people who have questions from the viewers who are going to put something in the chat or whatever, or we can keep on talking like this. I'm aware of the fact that as I wasn't expecting to have to do this on my iPhone, it wasn't charged up to the max. I wouldn't want it suddenly it all goes blank and no one knows.
Yeah. What happened? Well, I mean, obviously, Simon, before things, just disappear. Is there anything you want to like promote, like any like new future convention besides the ones you mentioned? You said you're going to Sweden, and so where can the fan meet Simon and check out some of the Max Rebo stuff?
I'm a bit bad about updating my website. I'm thinking I'm not sure I've put up the Sweden or the Redditch gigs on my website yet, but my website is simonjwilliamson.co.uk.
Okay. I'm gonna put that in the chat, by the way.
Yeah.
Sean, if you want to see if you could find that.
Okay.
The web.
So you've got the sort of autographs there and a few facts about me, but yes, I'll try and be better about updating my conventions.
Yeah, we got a question from Telperian. How did Simon first get into puppeteering?
Right. Okay. Well, that was through Dark Crystal.
Mhm.
And Dark Crystal
Mhm.
was advertised in the stage newspaper in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And you don't get many jobs advertised in the stage.
Mhm.
And it was very intriguing, and it wasn't at all clear what they wanted. There was a big HO and an exclamation mark, which we later understood to stand for the Henson Organization.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were okay.
Yeah, it gave a very unclear description of what sounded to me like performing giant pyramids with multiple people, as you might do in a circus. So it said something like "Ho, looking for equity," which is our actors unit. Equity, actors, dancers, mimes, circus performers, acrobats for large-scale film by the Henson Organization, film involving large-scale creatures.
Oh, wow.
And then write with your photo and CV and tell us what you've done in these skills. And so I did. And then there was a big group audition in the British Folklore Society, which had a massive kind of wooden floor because they, do folk dancing there. And half of the kind of what I call fringe London, fringe theatre London, all the performers who would had physical skills, we all went to this massive open audition, which was led by a Swiss mime artist called Jean-Pierre Amiel, who I'd actually met and done a workshop with about 6 months.
I think he's
Well,
I could tell the battery dying as
Yeah, his phone battery was dying.
oh, did we lose him? Oh.
I think so.
You could tell like when it was getting a little staticky.
Yeah.
Man.
All right. I'll text him real quick.
Yeah. I mean,
well, his phone died, so you can't even text
Oh,
him.
that's true.
Oh, you can't even text him.
Plug the iPad in, Simon.
I mean, first of all, what a nice guy. Oh my gosh, I really wanted to talk to him some more.
I just want to hug him.
Yeah, it's such a nice, jolly guy, man.
Yeah,
like
he was. Yeah,
he you could tell like he fits the like the way even though it's just through like actions and stuff, you could tell like he his personality.
You can see that's Max Rebo.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
The way he, I mean, Sean, you met him in person. You got to hang out.
Yeah,
with him
that's how we got him on the show. It was funny because we were all staying at the same hotel, and then the first day of the show was like Friday. That's where they have the VIP. Oh, he's back! Yay!
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, I'm now gone off the mobile phone, which I think that it's
I think it died on us.
We're trying the iPad again. So
oh, nice, good, glad to have you back.
We're just saying like, oh man, like we're like, oh, he's such an awesome person and jolly guy, and so
we talked about the first time we met.
I think before I was cut off, I was saying I'd actually met and done a workshop with Jean-Pierre Amiel about 6 months before in Cardiff when he was over in Cardiff for the Mime Festival.
Okay.
So I got in with a load of students who were on a theatre studies course, and I was doing all their workshops. I wasn't part of the course, but I just kind of got myself involved with them all.
You got the bug.
And they started to cast me in their plays and things as well, which was great. So I got my acting experience there, and also because of the Mime Festival, most of the performers did a workshop for the students. So I'd done a workshop with Jean-Pierre Amiel.
Wow.
Anyway, so there was that audition, and I got through that audition. And at that stage, I don't think we knew all that much about the job. We must have known a bit, but the recall audition was up at Elstree.
Okay.
And then it was the Elstree studio across the road from the film studio. ATV Studios, where they had been filming the Muppet Show.
Mm.
So there was all this Muppet paraphernalia around. So we kind of thought, oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Henson, it's the Muppet people. And for the first time at that audition, we got our arms inside the head and neck of a mystic.
So right off the bat, they just threw you in and said, let's see what you can do.
Improvise waking up and then take it from there.
Wow.
So a few of, and they said, remember, the mystics are very old and they moved very slowly. And so all of us, we kind of did a slow waking up and a kind of ancient 400-year-old man kind of walk around the place.
Yeah, I'm just going to share.
Performers.
Oh, yeah, how a mystic.
Yeah. One of the I thought we'd just been cut off. Yeah. One of the performers got up and he swooped around like the most active, really, the youngest, most youthful mystic, moving fast. And we all thought to ourselves, well, he's not going to get the job. And he did.
What?
Because what Jean-Pierre Amiel wanted is he wanted us all for our personalities and our diversity. So he kind of wanted, so that was Hugh Spite. He wanted Hugh Spite for certain reasons and me for certain reasons, because the mystics all 7 of them, or was it 9, had their own individual personalities and their own kind of functions. So he must have thought, oh, Simon will be the chanter, and Robbie will be the numerologist, and Toby will be this, and Hugh will be this. So he kind of worked, he worked in a very interesting way, very holistic way. And after that audition, they picked about 10 of us, I think. Yeah, about 10 or 11 of us. And we started training. And for a 2-week period, we did intense training with Jean-Pierre Amiel. And at the end of that 2 weeks, we had to cut down the numbers to, I think it was 4 people to carry on working. And the other 6, the remaining 6, to go away for 6 months and come back in 6 months' time and join us. And so, there was a big playoff for the 4th place between myself and Toby Philpott.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't remembered the story clearly. You told me a while ago. And it said, yes, it was where they didn't know. In the end, they went with Toby. And I was very disappointed about this, obviously. But then I got a call 2 weeks later. Toby had injured his back. So the thing about the mystics is you're really quite likely to do your back in if you're not very careful.
Right.
So I kind of became by default one of the initial 4.
Wow.
And so Toby joined us with the others in 6 months' time. But I was going to say that whole process of working Amiel was, because of the way he works, it was one of the most creative periods of anything I've ever experienced. It was just such a privilege.
Now, working on Dark Crystal, was that around the time where did you just say to yourself, like, I could have a career doing this? Or was it before that you felt like you can make something out of it?
Well, no, I'd sort of become an actor and I had a penchant for doing physical stuff.
Okay.
So this was right in line with my interests and what I wanted to do. But there's no dialogue, of course.
Right.
So that's a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
No, I thought I'd like to continue doing this in films. And of course, Return of the Jedi came pretty much straight after.
Right.
And between the 2 jobs, I did a sword fighting job for one of the BBC Shakespeare plays.
Okay.
With a fellow performer who taught me to sword fight on the back lot at Elstree Studio for 2 hours before the audition.
Oh my gosh!
Because I said to him, listen, I can pick up sword fighting no problem because I used to do karate. I said the only thing is in karate, what you do is you tend to block things with your elbow.
Yeah. You don't want to block.
You can't do that if someone's fighting this like so. I had
I was gonna say
thing. So yeah. Anyway, we both got the job on the Shakespeare, and then it was Return of the Jedi after that, and then there weren't many films being made in the UK that involved puppeteering in the same way. The Hensons moved back to New York and then to Canada to do Fraggle Rock.
Yep, I was just thinking Fraggle Rock. Yep.
Yeah, that aspect of performance that had kept me working for a year suddenly was gone. And in a way, I thought, well, that's okay, because now I can concentrate on work where I get my my voices showcased as well. So I did fringe plays, and then suddenly out of the blue, that there might be a little Muppet movie that would come up, like The Muppet Christmas Carol, or a bit later, Little Shop of Horrors. So I kind of kept my hand in with puppeteering, no pun intended.
Right.
But then and then CGI was beginning to come in, and there was that period where there really wasn't anything happening in the puppeteering world. And also I got a bit out of the loop with the people who'd sort of kept up with various things and went on to do Labyrinth, for example.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too with puppeteering, right? Like we all know that with technology, a lot of people are moving towards like CGI and deep fakes and everything like that, but there's nothing beats like a puppeteer and like
the movement's so different, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's more lifelike when you see them move.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
it's CGI, it's robotic.
Yeah, it just doesn't look natural or organic. But even then, like I feel like something.
Yes, it can look like Yoda fighting and spinning around and leaping in the air.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, and which trust me, but like seeing it, and I know they did it for The Last Jedi, right? They had Frank Oz come back again, right? To do the Yoda scene. And it's just one of those things where you kind of miss that. And it's still, when you see it on screen, you're like, cool. Even with Max Rebo in the Book of Boba, I mean, when we saw that, no one's like, oh my God, this looks stupid. No, everyone's like, oh my gosh, just Max Rebo. Like, awesome. So I think there is a place for puppeteering, especially in this day and age. I think it's very unique and very different from what we're so used to.
Yeah.
But like Simon said, though, you can invoke your personality into it versus it's a lifeless digital animation.
Yeah.
You can give it your own spin.
Yes,
well,
I agree.
If you're doing puppeteering, you're puppeteering, and you're also doing the voice, then it is acting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you form a kind of mental connection between your hand and yourself. It's
Yeah.
It's not dissimilar to working in a mask.
Right. Yeah.
And also, I did a little tiny bit of training in motion capture, because I thought that would be a good thing to get into. And what the instructor said, he said, what around the room, what have people done before? And I said, I'm puppeteering on Max Rebo and blah, blah, blah. He said, yes. He said, I often find that puppeteers take to motion capture quite well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you're translating something that your body is translating. You're translating into something else.
Yeah, as opposed to doing it yourself.
Yeah. For example, you may be doing a movement with your forearm. There's your real forearm and the size that has, but you know that the character's forearm is only a quarter of that length. But your upper arm might be twice the length. So you're visualizing this when you're doing the movement as well.
Oh,
if they give you the kind of illustration of what character they will animate on top of your basic motion capture skeleton.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, but like, I mean, that's very interesting. I actually didn't really, know that, but like I said, like I think there's a place for it in movies nowadays. And I think, back in the day, and maybe I'm biased again. I grew up in the 80s. In the 80s, everything was so new, so different, and so unique. Even the stories that were being told. I mean, the Dark Crystal. I mean, nowadays, and not to crap on some of the new stuff, but I feel like it's always like, okay, let's let's redo this movie, or let's remake this movie, or there's nothing original anymore. And
I think what
Yeah.
also might be happening is the fact that the techniques that were developed, say in Dark Crystal, which were groundbreaking, and they used some of them to some extent on Return of the Jedi, so it kind of fed into something else. I think a lot of the people who made those are dying out, literally, not just retired, but some people are dying. So unless there's been a mechanism for keeping those skills alive, they can so easily disappear.
Right.
Yeah. And
So,
Dark Crystal, I was gonna say Dark Crystal was so unique at the time, even though it scared me. Actually, it didn't really scare me as much as Fraggle Rock. I don't know why Fraggle Rock
The
creeps me.
Fraggles.
Because
See, you guys keep talking about Dark Crystals. I'm literally about, when we're done here tonight, I think I'm going to rewatch it again because I haven't seen it since I was like 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna rewatch it as an adult, and then I'll message all three of you, and then let you know how I feel now watching it. If it scares me,
well,
I'll make sure to like turn off all the lights.
I'm gonna tell you, this guy right here, I don't know who this person is. I forgot the name. But can I tell you, this guy scared the heck out of me. You know why? Because he ate the Fraggles.
Oh, was he eating the Fraggles?
He was eating the Fraggles. Hold on,
I could see a young little PJ freaking out.
Simon, let me share it again. As so this, I don't know who this guy, I forgot the name of this guy. And if someone in the chat can help us out. I remember watching Fraggle Rock, and I saw this thing, and he was trying to grab the Fraggles and try to eat them. And I'm like,
that's a real Muppet character. That.
Oh yeah, that screams Henson.
Yeah. And when I saw that, I was just like, yeah. But again, it's just I think the imagination was great back then. Obviously, because I think with technology nowadays, it kind of like you don't have to imagine anymore. That's the problem. I feel like imagination does so much wonders to the brain, especially when you're coming up with a story or coming up with original stories. Because now, and I have 3 kids, and I could tell, I mean, they have a little bit of an imagination, but everything's like, oh, what's that like? And then you just go in the iPad and Google it, and hey, what happens if Darth Vader fights the Hulk? And back then you're like, you would argue with your friends, like, oh yeah, they'll do this and they'll do that. But now you just look it up on YouTube and you can find a video on it.
Yeah, so there's like a concept. Forgot what's the name of the channel, but there's like a concept channel that it's like different characters can fight each other, and you can see like what would happen.
Oh, really?
If they did. And I know they had one of like Darth Vader fighting somebody from like the Marvel world.
It does. It takes so much imagination away.
I mean, I think if he had Darth Vader versus Miss Piggy, I don't think Darth Vader's going to survive. Do you?
See, I would have say, like, if I were to do puppets fighting each other, it would be like Bert and Ernie. Bert versus Ernie.
See that gives me a great idea. We should do. Like honestly,
they really hated each other.
Honestly, though, I think that's a great idea. If someone out there is very like creative and can get like, I don't know, make some YouTube videos on puppets fighting characters like Darth Vader.
They had celebrity deathmatch.
Yeah, but more like puppets. Like, imagine like Miss Piggy fighting like
with another female
Darth Vader,
puppet,
or Kermit the Frog fighting like Boba Fett.
Oh, jeez.
I'm greener than you. And see, I think I would watch that videos on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah.
I would have Kermit versus Yoda.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. That's actually a good one.
It's quite difficult to have shots with Kermit's legs, though. It can be done, but it's a bit difficult to do a fight scene. There'd be a series of mid shots as they fight, from the waist up.
Oh man,
shots a lot.
If I had the money, I would definitely try to produce one and maybe hire Simon and some other puppeteers and recreate some of these like cool scenes that you always wanted to see, like Kermit fighting Yoda, or like Boba fighting, I don't know, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't. Animal. you know?
Oh, Animal. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So things like that. I mean, because again, maybe I'm just old. I don't know what it is, um, but I kind of miss the puppeteering thing in movies.
Yeah. Well, if you saw the Dark Crystal Netflix series,
Mhm.
I mean, they did bring back old-fashioned puppeteering techniques as
Mhm.
well as CGI. So
Oh,
they,
Yeah.
they made a pretty good stab at that.
Would
Yeah.
you
But I think
consider?
possibly one of
continue.
the reasons why they didn't pick up the series for a second run is probably because of the expense.
Oh.
It is very expensive to have live puppeteers with that kind of story, that
Really?
amount
Yeah.
of puppeteering in set design, etc.
I was gonna
Gotcha.
ask, would you, it sucks to ask this question, but would you say that CGI was basically the killer of puppeteering?
Ooh, certainly a major contributor, I would say, to puppeteering in those kind of films. Yes,
Mhm.
but I mean, I think J.J. Abrams brought back some live puppet characters in.
But that's what made Star Wars, like when you would have practical effects mixed
Yeah,
with the CGI. To me, that's the
yeah,
perfect recipe.
Recipe.
Because in the prequel movies, George tried to go all digital, and it didn't he didn't sell it to me because it just didn't feel like that original trilogy.
Mhm.
It didn't feel real at sometimes because the sets were almost
Yeah.
too clean, too sharp. But
yes,
when you mix the practical with the special effects, that's a home run.
yeah,
Yeah. I really hope that they start going back to that, like just mixing in with the practical effects with
yeah.
the CGI. I
So
think that's
much
just
better.
it's
I don't think AI is going to do able to do what puppets do, but
Right.
AI will be able to do what conventional CGI techniques do, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of scary with AI just because of the things that you could make with AI, especially if you watch the last Indiana Jones, with the deep fakes,
Right. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. And well, let's just say, seeing Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones was, very nostalgic, and seeing what they did when they de-aged him like a lot,
They did a
and
great job.
they did a great job. Yeah, it
It's
was like
almost
Oh, really?
scary.
Sort of. Is
Yeah.
it? It's better than that. What is it? The Martin Scorsese film, The Irishman, with
with
Oh
Robert De
my
Niro and
god.
oh my
Joe Pesci.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
I was like
terrible.
Yeah, much better than that one.
much better than that.
Right.
I was like watching that, and I'm like, Robert De Niro was not selling it for me.
Yeah. That wasn't him.
I was like, oh no, man. I loved you in Goodfellas, but I don't know. This is not selling it for me. Plus, it's a long movie. But yeah, no, I just it's just one of those things too. Like I said, they with Star Wars, that's what you fell in love with Star Wars. Stuff like this, the puppeteering, uh all the costumes and the sets,
Mm.
that's what made Star Wars, right? And like what Sean said with the prequel stuff, you kind of lost yourself with some of it. But honestly though, like I think some of the newer stuff, like the Book of Boba and some of the newer, you could tell that John Favreau and Filoni are trying to mix in some of the, some of the, you know, like live action sets in with the CGI and stuff. So the practical effects with the CGI,
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
you know, but we'll see, and especially like with back then, because like I said, the John Williams score, the opening crawl, the aliens, the weird name, the 9 nubs, the 10 nubs. First of all, who came up with these names?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
they had
Max
like a
Rebo.
generator and they were typing everything on there, like a
Yeah.
description, and then it
Max-
popped up a name.
Do you know what Max Rebo was called when we were shooting?
No, what
No.
was it?
He was on the call sheets, and he was referred to as Red Ball Jet.
Oh, that's
Red
right.
Bull
Well,
Jet.
I think that's where Tom Spina came up with the red balls that were on the maquette.
Well,
Mhm.
that's if that's his invention to add to the original sculpture, that makes
I think it
that's
was
a kind of
we'll have
play
to
on
look
words,
that
but
up.
the Red Bull Jet organ was the organ he sat in.
Okay.
But while we were shooting, the character was called Red Bull Jet.
Wow.
Oh, here it is. He did put the red balls there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, go back. That was one more.
That's Phil.
So the drawing on the right shows how like that's Phil Tippett inside the Max Rebo.
Oh, right. Right.
Do you see
Is that
it?
Yeah, was that exactly how it was?
I think so. Well, what happens is, if I can just show you, the puppet, that model of the puppet would suggest you would have to play the organ like this.
Mm-hmm.
But as the shooting goes on, it becomes more like that. So it becomes more like the kind of shape you see in the film.
Right.
But the original idea would have you'd have to kind of be double jointed with your arms your hands at the end of your wrists.
Yeah. Because
I can see why that didn't work. No, the puppet that I performed in kind of led you to perform the way I did. It couldn't, the arms couldn't be up there as much as that,
right,
and maintain a performance because the rubber kind of was molded in a certain way.
I think playing in this position for a very long time would have been like hurting.
Yeah.
That would have been better in many ways, and it also would have stopped them making the Kenner models where he's got 4 limbs. Because to me, he's always been a 2-limbed character.
Right.
So I regarded him as having no arms and playing the organ with his feet.
So is it his feet that he's playing it?
Yes,
with,
but they look like arms.
But they look like arms.
But
so
if
he
you look
had
closely at the picture, he's not. It's not the top half of a 4-limbed creature with his feet out down below and off camera. He sits on a grey cushion
and plays with his feet.
So it's like a pair of buttocks with arms coming out of them.
Yes.
So there's an ID Comics magazine with a story about Max Rebo and his brother Azul, and the artist Nick Brokenshire. I met him and he said, "I've been commissioned to do this thing." He says, "You'll be pleased. I'm drawing Max Rebo as if he's got 2 limbs, not 4."
Yeah.
So that's my purpose, because that's the character I played, and that's exactly what the costume was, what the creature was when I kind of got it. So
a 2-limb creature.
It's only that when they started to make the toys, and it's this 4-legged character standing up in the organ, which persisted
I was gonna say
for ages, and it's also the original Funko has got 4 limbs.
Yeah,
because this new one that's just released, because he's sitting in the organ, you can't tell whether he's got 2 limbs or 4.
Yeah. Well, just the alien name for Max Rebo is Ortolan, right?
The what?
Ortolan.
Ortolan. Yes, he's an
Ortolan. Ortolan. Now I really hope, like I said, we get to see more Max Rebo in even animated form, right? I would like to see more backstory on him, because I know there's some plushies out there, right? So kids love that though. My kids see the Max Rebo character, like you said, a lot of kids gravitate towards that character because he's such a welcoming, cozy type of alien, right?
He is bright blue as well, which kind of helps in a dark set.
Let me share my screen real quick, PJ.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was looking up, like you were saying, he plays with his feet. I was like, you know what? I got to look that up and see. But yeah, this is it. Let's see.
There was an earlier prototype of Max Rebo in which what they wanted to do was they wanted to have 2 people inside the Max Rebo costume, so it had to be a little bit bigger, back to back, and one would have one arm in one of his legs.
You know
And
what?
the other would have his arm in the other leg.
It's hard to
Maybe
see.
with their other hand, they might do something with the head or the trunk. So
Yeah.
a bit like how they actually ended up working Jabba.
Yeah, it's hard to see in this picture in the upper right-hand corner. It says blueprints for Max, and it shows the two people back to back. One guy.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to see. I can't blow it up any larger, but yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good, photograph showing basically, like you said, he's kind of like a buttocks with feet, and he plays the keyboard. It's what, because if you look in the bottom left, it looks like his butt.
Yeah, the buttocks are very unattractive.
Yeah, they had to hide that. But yeah,
it's a lovely maquette to sign. I'm always happy when I'm asked to sign one of those.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's not really naked, right, Simon?
You never know.
Oh man,
spicy.
Simon's like, it was hot in that suit, man. You had to do what you had to do.
Max Rebo is playing his birthday suit. No, but yeah, I always kind of saw that and kind of knew that in a way, but I didn't want to believe it because I'm like,
he doesn't want to traumatize himself.
Yeah, I was like, who could play with their feet like that?
They wrote what is it? Daniel Day-Lewis did a movie about that. It's a true story.
But that's my left foot.
But
he wrote with his foot. So technically you can kind of play with your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
you
hard.
can teach yourself how to write. You can teach yourself how to play.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I always had this in my mind at the moment where the Carrie's character as the little bounty hunter type produces the thermonuclear detonator.
Yeah.
And I thought, his clothes is, because I tried to keep him whimsical
as
well. He had this kind of comedy look, and I thought, well, okay, he would block his eyes, which are going to be absolutely pointless against a thermonuclear detonator. But you do it, and I thought, isn't it cool? Because I'm not just blocking my eyes with my hands; I'm actually blocking my eyes with my feet.
Right.
So that was my own little kind of joke to myself.
Wow.
Well, can I make a suggestion now, Simon? Since we all know that Max Rebo basically has no arms, but has mostly feet, and nice feet, unique feet. You know where I'm going with this one.
I know exactly where you're going.
Feetfinder.com, Simon Williamson. I think you can make a lot of money.
This sounds really rather horrible.
It is. It's bad.
It is actually bad.
It's bad.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know. Maybe we get Simon a couple, beers from the pub.
Yeah. And listen, we'll split the cost, Simon. I'll be your agent. We'll go to the Lucas Archives. We'll take the feet of Max Rebo, and then we'll take pictures of it.
On that theme, I think I actually do have an agent for my trunk.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
I'm sorry. That was like 2 seconds slow.
You notice Nilda was the first one that got it. The female in the book was like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about." Where's
this episode going?
That's a different website.
This is a different website. No, but that's actually a really cool fact that it is his feet. I thank you for clarifying that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been wondering, is that his feet that he's playing the instrument with?
Well, you can either say he has no arms and just has legs, or you can say he has no legs,
but he's just got
arms, and so. But the way the buttocks kind of work from the maquette.
I'll never see Max Rebo the same again.
To saying they're really his legs.
Yeah, we're all never gonna see Max Rebo the same again. No, but seriously though, like with some of the puppeteering that you've done, especially for Return of the Jedi, and that I think when you disconnected for like a second or two, I was just saying, like, your personality is so like welcoming, just like the character, because like I said, your character sticks out like a sore thumb, not just because of the color, but just the way you are playing that character. Like, it's like very happy. Listen, there's all these bounty hunters and villains, and they're all like ready to kill anybody like they don't like. And here you don't care. You're like, la 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 la, like, I'm just gonna play with the band, the Max Rebo band. So and that's cool. Like, you kind of
I'm glad it's the Max Rebo band. It could. There's an argument for calling it the Size Noodles Band, isn't there, as well?
Right.
Really?
Max
Right.
Rebo band.
It's always been the Max
It's
Rebo
always
band.
Max Rebo band.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Always.
Size Noodle is on her own, man.
Yeah.
Like she's just like someone that Max Rebo hired along the way. Like,
Yeah.
listen, come, we're playing Jabba's pals again. Was there something like, and obviously they didn't really tell you much about the character when you signed on, correct? Did you take it upon yourself, like, you know what, this is a blue character, I'm going to take it upon myself, like he's going to be very happy and just kind of like playing this
a puppet often gives you a huge amount of information anyway. It's a kind of logic often to the way you perform it, and you kind of do what's natural. It's a bit like putting on a mask.
Yeah.
You just kind of, you start to behave like what the mask suggests.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of character work I did. It's kind of, it just sort of,
takes
it, having played creatures of various types in Dark Crystal, it's a performance that comes from the physical shape from the outside in,
right,
and then the inside out after that. But you kind of, there's a lot that's dictated by the shape.
Yeah.
I do like playing characters that don't conform to the human body closely.
Yeah.
So in Dark Crystal, the mystics,
you
want it so that people look at them and you say, how did they do that? There's a man inside. No, there can't be, because it's just, that's the kind of appeal of that kind of work. So on Jedi, I was kind of most disappointed in a way, although they're nice characters, by playing the Mon Calamari man.
Yeah.
Because there's very little they can do. They're kind of humanoid with the fishy head and the little flippers. But apart from that, the movement behavior is just so human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the only thing I could do and did was I kind of did a little fluttering thing with the flippers.
Yeah,
so they're not like hands; they're kind of slightly different. But there weren't many points at which you could put moments like that in the brief scenes where I'm a Mon Calamari. So it wasn't as satisfying as, say, the Gamorrean guards, which, because of their shape, you cannot help but move in a certain bulk way that belies the bulk and the fact that the thighs are so far apart. So it's like a weightlifter. A massive weightlifter is going to walk in a different way than a ballerina, because of the shape.
Oh wow, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the Gamorrean guards were great fun to do, because Max Rebo is restrictive and tight, and I couldn't see anything. Whereas with the Gamorrean guards, you've got the room to swagger and move around.
So you worked with Steven.
Sorry?
When you were playing...
No, Stephen Costantino. No, Stephen did the scenes in America. All my shots were at Elstree Studios in London. Most of the film Jabba's Palace, but the exterior of Jabba's sails barge was shot in Yuma.
Yep, Arizona.
And they didn't. I think they didn't want to they thought, well, we don't need to fly over Simon and Hugh Spite and Paul Springer to play Gamorrean guards in the American the Yuma sequences. We only need one Gamorrean guard. Let's get someone local, and that was Stephen.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, with the Gamorrean guards, like, obviously when you look at the body habitus of the Gamorrean guard plus the face of the Gamorrean guard, like you said, okay, how you're gonna play this character. He looks pretty badass. He's a guard. You got to be like a bouncer, like in a club or something like that.
And you know they're massively unintelligent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From the look.
Just from the look.
But just the look, yeah.
Looks like a big dummy.
Yeah. Well, did you play the Gamorrean guard that fell into the Rancor pit? No.
No, the stuntman fell into the pit.
Oh, okay.
But I do the rest of it, from getting up and then turning around, seeing the Rancor.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that's did they show you the Rancor? Like, okay,
No, I didn't. I had no idea what the rancor would look like. You just know to look up at a certain height.
See that
and
it's
to react against this huge monster.
it's so interesting that you've played that part, because now when I watch the movie, I'm going to look at it in a completely different light. I'm like, that's Max Rebo. It's Simon Williamson. It's Simon Williamson. It's like, that's awesome. I just love hearing the behind the scenes stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I know you said like when you see these, the costume, you just know what to do. But there is obviously a skill level that you have to play these parts. Because you put me in Max Rebo costume, I'm gonna be like, get this guy off the stage. What the hell is he doing with that with those feet? Like, I don't know. It has, or even the Gamorrean guard, like,
it's feet with you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I have a feet fetish.
Simon's calling you out.
Simon's finally caught on.
Simon, how did you know? Not only am
we're gonna make
a client,
a
I'm also the president.
New TikTok snippet.
Yeah,
it's feet with you.
What's the feet? No, no, but again, like, like I said, like, is there, like, you put me, Sean, or Nilda in like a Gamorrean guard costume, we wouldn't know what to do. We just go like, should we stand like this?
Well, the reason, I think I seem to remember Hugh and I ended up doing most of the Gamorrean guards. Hugh Spite and I, at a certain point, was that I think they had an extra, or as they call them, supporting artist, or someone in a Gamorrean guard in an earlier sequence.
Okay.
And they fainted.
Oh wow.
And no, we said, oh, listen, we've just been on Dark Crystal. We know how to conserve. Let us get in the costume. We'll do a little improvisation for you. So we did a kind of improvisation, and from that point on, I think Hugh and I, whenever there were just two Gamorrean guards, that was Hugh and I.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
But it was dangerous too, because the feet were very large, and they don't have a joint in them, so it's like a big plate.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple of sequences we had to take Chewbacca and Han Solo down into the dungeons, and we had Chewbacca certainly on a great big chain. So Hugh and I were going down these tiny little steps
with those big feet,
semicircle, and that was really quite hairy.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it's like walking with snowshoes on.
You it's the Dark Crystal training that allows you to conserve energy and do something delicate in a situation where it's it requires a lot of physical effort and strength. You've got to have the delicacy too.
Yeah,
I enjoyed pretty much all the Gamorrean guard sequences. They were such fun to play.
Yeah. Did you get to keep any of the? I'm sure you got to ask this, right? Like, did you get to keep a lot of the props from the movie, or
you think you can keep a prop from Star Wars?
I know.
You'd be able to sneak that out?
You could have on the first film, because they didn't know what they had. But by the time Jedi hit, they're like, we're boxing this stuff up. It's going in the museum.
Yeah.
I would have been taking a tooth off of that Gamorrean guard and putting him out.
I know, Simon, you said you haven't kept up with many of the new Disney series, so you haven't saw the new Gamorrean guard that's in the Book of Boba Fett. The skinny one.
They're too skinny.
Right?
Yeah, I was like,
yeah. Doesn't give you that old school feel.
They're too skinny and they're too humanoid.
Right?
Yeah.
They're very muscular.
On the set and on the call sheets, they weren't called Gamorrean guards. They were called pig guards.
Pig guard, yep.
Pig.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they sound like, well, the Gamorrean guard that fell in the Rancor pit. Remember, he like yelled out like an oink or something. Like
he squealed like a pig.
Yes. And then and then he gets eaten by the Rancor. No, but it was just kind of weird when I saw the Gamorrean guards being like super skinny in the Book of Boba. I was like, what? That's not
I think in a very real way, when people come back to a series, the makers so many years later, it's not the same people making the costumes.
Right.
They don't have the costumes anymore.
Yeah.
If they're kind of rubber or latex based, they will have perished.
Deteriorated. Yeah.
So unless
Yeah.
you've got the same people making them or extensive notes, you're going to be changing things all the time. And then a new director will also want to stamp their particular kind of
Trademark or
opinion
something.
and taste on the reboot, so to
Yeah,
speak.
they try to get
Yeah.
inspiration from the old stuff, but they want to put their own spin on it to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we
Yeah.
made this. It's different and better."
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
all the iterations of Batman and the different you know, actors who've played Batman, the way that's sort of subtly changed over the years.
Yeah.
Not as much as the Gamorrean guards in Jedi and then Book of Boba Fett, though.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of wish that, like, you know, they would hire some fans to, you know, get us on set and say, like, listen, that's not the Gamorrean guard.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Go back to what
Yeah.
everyone
Can
loves
you-
about Star Wars.
yeah.
Can you imagine how they would choose a fan?
Yeah. Oh my
Oh,
god.
we'll put an advert in the paper.
Oh, there will be like
Oh,
millions
fans.
line.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, like, you know, I know John Favreau's a fan, Dave Filoni's a fan. Like, I'm surprised they didn't like say, "Hey, listen." According to Robert Rodriguez, he was a fan, but I'm surprised he didn't say, like, "Listen, we got to get the real Gamorrean guards. We got to get this," or
Yeah.
you know, something like that is true to the original trilogy. You know,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool. I still
Well-
enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but
Well,
yeah,
in the credits of when the film came out, in the credits, it didn't say Simon Williamson, Max Rebo.
Yeah.
There was a list of the puppeteers and a list of the mime artists. So it was only pretty much when IMDb started up in a big way, and it said Simon Williamson, Max Rebo brackets uncredited.
Oh,
That was the
wow.
point
Oh,
at
yeah.
which fans were able to find me.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So the first signing convention I ever did in Paris a few years ago, there's a wonderful Danish fan called Michael Nielsen who said, "We've been looking for you for years."
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
who was the person that played Max Rebo?
How do you not give yourself? They give everybody credit in these movies. Like,
I think there's
I
another
don't
actor that they've been
understand why.
trying, like they had a hard time identifying. It was I'll find the character now. It's the one who's holding the cantina thing. The container that they've been selling at the Star Wars park that opens up.
Oh,
The Camtono?
Yeah,
Yes,
something. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name.
Is that the ice cream maker from Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a scene where there was like all the citizens of Bespin was running, and the guy had this ice cream maker, and he made that his outfit and that little ice cream maker like famous.
Yeah.
And he didn't get credited. I mean, he was in there for literally a split second, though.
Yeah.
Because we weren't hired under contract, and it didn't say my name and a character name.
Okay.
I'm hired as puppeteer. So that goes right through post-production and all the kind of post-production materials they produce, like you know, the kind of final version of the script and the cast list and everything. I would logically just be puppeteer,
right?
And Sean and Tim and people would be mime artists.
Okay.
I actually did, I think, slightly more mime artist work than puppeteering work on the film in the final analysis.
Yeah.
But that's just what happens, because, you know, you get them to say, and they say, well, you play this one, and how do I do that? Or you show them something and they say, oh, you'd be good at doing that. Do you want to do it? And I say, yes, of course. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like, you know, we need to bring back the puppeteering back into Star Wars, and some of, like, you know, the practical effects, you know, and it's, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, with some of these newer shows, they like, oh, we could get away with, no one's going to notice. people will notice. People always
Mhm.
notice, especially Star Wars fans. I don't know how other like IPs are, Star Trek and Marvel, but with Star Wars, people notice. You know, they're like, "Oh wait, that's Max Rebo. Oh my gosh, oh he's alive." Or, "Hey, that's the Gamorrean guard in the back. Oh my gosh, like why is he skinny? Why is he not looking like a pig?" You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, we should start petitioning from this day forth because we want a Solo 2 movie where he
mhm.
goes back to Jabba's palace to get the big
Oh
job from
my gosh.
Jabba. And
Mm.
then right there, you bring Max Rebo back.
Rebo.
That would be the perfect time to introduce him
Oh
back to
wow,
the
that
big
would.
screen. Not
Yeah.
a series, but bring him back to the big screen.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I know you said you haven't watched any of the new Disney stuff, like the TV shows, but have you watched any of the new movies, like Solo or anything like that?
Oh yes, because they're available in the cinema. I
Mm.
haven't subscribed to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Rather
Okay.
stupidly, I kind of felt, well, I'll wait until I've watched everything that Netflix has to offer, and then I'll swap over and subscribe to Disney Plus.
Oh,
But of course,
Netflix.
they're adding things all the time, and also there isn't enough time to watch
no,
all the stuff that's out there.
out there,
And
yeah.
even on terrestrial free television, I'm way behind on what I should be watching. So yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, well, that is actually, see, that's why, you know, fans are great because we could come up with these stories and
Oh, yeah.
like organically know how to bring some of these characters back. I mean,
Mhm.
Sean painted a perfect picture in how you could reintroduce Max Rebo back into the mix. That's perfect. Solo 2, that should take a majority of the story should take place in Jabba's palace.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a perfect stage for Rebo to come back.
Solo could have a conversation with Rebo for like a good 10 minutes. Like, "Oh, hey, you're playing again. Here's tip. Thing. Thanks. Size noodles. Oh, she's here again. Oh, son of a.
We're here to see Max.
Yeah, we're here to Max gets. Get her out of the stage. Gets Sai out of the stage. But again, Simon. We are very, very. It's getting. I know it's been like almost 2 hours now.
2
We don't
hours.
want to hold.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold you up too much longer.
Is it really? There's a
Yeah.
clock at the top of my iPad.
Yeah, it's almost been like 2 hours.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We missed at least 20 minutes with the sound issues.
The sound issues, but just like in anything, right? We make it work. But yeah, no, I just want to say, we just want to say thank you, Simon.
Yes, thank you for coming.
From the bottom of our hearts for coming on the show and just talking to us about all the puppeteering, all the work that you've done. Honestly, without you doing all this stuff, like we wouldn't have like such fond memories, childhood memories of all these characters that we grew up to love.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, playing the Mystics in
Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal. I'm sorry, it's getting I'm fading. I need my food. But with Dark Crystal, Max Rebo and the Gamorrean Guard and the Mon Calamari in the Return of the Jedi, it's much, 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 much appreciated. Again, you have made great memories for us to remember.
Well, it's great fun, and I keep on getting reminded whenever I go to a convention.
Yeah,
because the way the fans respond is just terrific.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
because I remember when we first met, like we stayed at the same hotel at ICC, and we were getting breakfast, and I was like, "Are you Max Rebo?" You're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I didn't want to bother you, so I kept it short. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, "You're Max Rebo, right?" You're like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, cool." And then we
did you have trouble getting the scrambled egg at the hotel?
Yes, right.
The scrambled egg just ran out like that.
Then they would bring these little cheese omelets out, and they would bring 6 of them, and you've got like 100 people ready to eat.
Yes,
you're like, this isn't working.
Because I don't eat meat, so scrambled egg is my go-to. Breakfast in hotels.
Yeah.
So.
But no, it was a pleasure meeting you there, and just the fact that we talked several times after that, and the fact that you agreed to come on the show, and you actually did, it really means a lot to us. And
it's been fun.
Yeah,
and I personally wanted to say thank you to you. I couldn't go to ICC, but Sean was able to get me a signed Max Rebo picture that you signed for me. So I was really happy about that.
Excellent.
So thank you.
So now
did he get you one of my badges?
No.
OG was one more question.
ICC was the first place where I'd sort of finally I designed these badges and I ordered them from China, and they arrived about 2 or 3 weeks before ICC. So I had them to sell for the first time, little lapel badges.
Oh, that's cool.
I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. One more question. It goes, wait, is Simon the breakdancing Mon Calamari behind Akbar? Did I miss that?
Breakdancing calamari? Was there a breakdance?
There's a breakdancing calamari.
Oh, gee, I missed that.
Nah.
But no, I don't recognize that. I can't breakdance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, Simon, I hope to get to meet you in person. I have I'll be getting that comic book. I really hope to see you back on the big screen as Max Rebo. We'll make a petition.
I'll Solo too.
I'll contact Steve Perry at Altered Reality again.
Okay.
Things like Contropolis and
get you back to the States.
Yeah. I probably won't do Rhode Island Comic Con 2 years in a row.
Okay.
But I'd love to go back to Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yeah.
Or maybe Colorado Springs, which is a nice one they do.
Yep. Denver just had theirs 2 weeks ago. Denver had one. And then there's a big one in Orlando, Florida, MegaCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was by different people. I don't have contacts with absolutely everyone. Some people kind of ignore me, the swine. And but Steve Perry's Altered Reality, I've done, Rhode Island and previous Colorado Springs and Foxwoods in Connecticut. So hopefully I'll be back there a few times.
Yeah, we got to get you back over.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, if you could do Contropolis in New Jersey, we could link up and I could show you around New Jersey, New York. I'm a local here, so I could definitely take you all the good spots and stuff. So yeah, some good food and everything.
I did get offered something in New Jersey for the end of the month, I think, but yeah, the deal they were offering wasn't kind of good enough.
Right, got to make it worth your while to go over the pond.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely
they wanted to have too many free autographs. Like ridiculous number.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. Tell them that's why you're there, is to sell those autographs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when you're in New Jersey, New York area, we'll definitely link up. Again,
I did East Coast Comic Con.
East Coast Comic Con.
A few years ago.
Okay.
Which was
is that
just in New Jersey, isn't it? It's across, very near New York. Where's the exact
place? I think that might have been in the Meadowlands. That was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yep, New Jersey. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's where Contropolis was at, like, this past weekend.
Right.
So yeah, again, we'll definitely link up and I could show you around. So all right, guys.
Next year, isn't it? Because you've just had it, or there's one coming up.
They just had it, so probably next year,
in a year's time, roughly.
Yeah, so probably next year they'll have it again. But all right, guys, I just want to say to everyone tuning in, thank you. I know we went a little early, but thank you for tuning in and watching our show. Thank you to Simon.
Thank
you, Simon.
Seriously, it was such a pleasure meeting you virtually and talking to you virtually. Thank you for playing the part of the Max Rebo character. And thank you again for hopping on our show. Oh, what happened? Oh my goodness. Done as a true actor and puppeteer. But thank you so much, everyone. And to everyone, may the midichlorians be with you guys always and forever.
All right, guys. See ya. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.